Always a pleasure, especially to have a man like this on the line when it is my 40th birthday today. Wow, am I getting old. Oscar Goodman has been nice enough on short notice to join us on the line. Oscar, thank you so much for being here. How you doing?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Brian. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
Yeah, I love it. Oscar, thank you. That was very nice.
All right, you'll be able to laminate that and save it.
I will. I'm going to use that as a promo. Oscar, what did you do on your 40th birthday?
My 40th birthday?
Yes.
Probably was sitting watching the San Diego Padres get beaten for the 43rd time that season.
That's not a horrible way to spend a 40th. So what advice would you?
It wasn't bad because the hot dogs were good down there. So
hot dogs, Fenway Park.
A couple beers, some hot dogs, and who cares what the score is?
Were you drinking martinis back then, or when did you start drinking the martinis?
But I always drank my martinis before I went to the park. I wanted to get real loose, and then when I got to the park, I switched over to Bud and a couple of kosher hots, and I'm a happy camper.
I love it. So I have to ask you, how are you dealing with this coronavirus situation? Because, we're all in quarantine, right, Oscar? And it's difficult.
Right now we don't have a choice, unfortunately. My wife, who's the mayor, of course, she made a statement yesterday, and she firmly believes that it's so imperative that we get ourselves opened again, and doing business again, because the truth of the matter is until there's a cure, some kind of a shot, which will address the coronavirus, nothing's going to change. It's going to be out there. That's what happens to viruses. They stay out there. They come, they go, they subside, they burst out. And until that time, nothing's going to change. And to keep us under this quarantine is disastrous for a lot of different reasons, for the economy, of course. But also, I'm talking to people. They call me all the time, and their minds are shriveling on them. They're at home. They can't go out. They can't do anything that they did before, and they're really feeling it psychologically. So hopefully the governor will loosen up, let folks go out. We're adults. We know what we're supposed to do. We wash our hands. We have the distance requirement. No problem. Everybody can follow that. But at the same time, I think we should be given the choice if we want to go to a nice restaurant and have a nice steak and socialize a little bit, even with the 6 feet requirement, that we should be given the opportunity to do that. And I'm hoping that this will change very, very quickly, because I think the economy needs to bounce back. And if it doesn't happen quickly, it's going to get tougher every single day.
Oscar, what is your sense? And I didn't want to get into too many serious questions with you, because I appreciate you calling in and wishing me a happy birthday. It does mean a lot to me. And, I love you and your wife, and I have the tremendous amount of respect for both of you and everything you've done for this city. I really do. I really do. But I have to ask you this then. If you're the governor, and you're not, but if you were, how would you have handled this? Do you think Sisolak made the right decision to close down the strip when he did?
The truth of the matter is I was sitting up there in the mayor's office for 12 years, and I see my wife up there. She's now in her third term. And until you're sitting in that seat, until you're in that chair, you really don't know the various pressures that are on you. And so I always chose not to comment or criticize somebody else, because I know that I called my shots, and if the people didn't like it, they could have voted me out of office. If they liked it, they could vote me in again, that kind of thing. And that's the only way that you can look at these things. You have to do what you really believe is right in your heart. And the problem is this. The problem is we're talking about people getting sick. We're talking about people dying. But that happens all the time, unfortunately. I love life. I love to enjoy every single minute. I hope it lasts forever, so to speak. But the truth of the matter is everything is finite. And people have died over the years from the flu, and we haven't shut down the community because of the flu. They died as a result of Zika or whatever that was called, and we didn't shut down the community. And it seems like every 3-4 years there's some kind of a pandemic which causes people to pass away, and nobody likes it. Nobody wants it. Everybody feels sorry. There are tragedies involved with each one of these deaths, but the truth of the matter is it's crippling our entire way of life here, and I think we have to be cognizant of that. We've got to be very, very careful as to how we limit people from doing what they want to do, and what with caution and with good sense they may be able to do, because nobody's showing me that places that haven't closed down are doing worse than places that have closed down. And I know one thing, nobody has a cure for it yet, so I think we have to start living again.
Do you think that the media coverage of this has become political, and do you think that it would be covered?
I'm not a theorist, conspiracy theorist. I don't know. I mean, you hear all sorts of things. You know, you turn on CNN, you get one side. You turn on Fox, you get another side. And that's up to the listeners. That's up to the public.
Yeah.
Truth of the matter is, the bottom line, they don't have any cure. There's no exit plan. And right now we're in a state of limbo, which is destroying our economy.
Yeah, I agree. Oscar, I want to ask you this from a human perspective. You know how stressful and how demanding the job is as mayor. And now your wife being the mayor, how is she holding up in all this? Because I would imagine this, and she's doing a good job, but this is a very difficult and stressful time for her. How is she handling this whole situation?
Well,
you would know better than anybody.
She's a very special lady, and I don't say that because she's my wife. I say it because I see what she does every single day, and I like to hope that I'm not a chauvinist, but she's remarkable. She's tougher than, people said that I used to represent these reputed mobsters and tough, reputed mafia guys, that kind of thing. She's tougher than any man that I ever represented.
Even Lefty Rosenthal, really?
She's a tough. I love her more than life itself, but this is a tough lady. And
sure,
if I told people what she does, they would scoff. She's remarkable. She gets up early in the morning. She does all the housekeeping. My home is as clean as a whistle. She heads off to City Hall about 7 o'clock. She's never home when regular people come home. She's always doing something, talking about something, meeting with somebody. And then she comes home. You know how she relaxes? She cooks dinner. So figure that.
Wow. You're a lucky man, Oscar. I think that's
fair
to say.
Extremely lucky man.
I got 4 great children, wonderful grandchildren, wonderful in-laws. There's nothing I want. And when I say want, I mean there's nothing I need, and I don't desire anything other than what I have. And all I want is my friends and my family to have good health and to have the best possible life imaginable. That's all I want.
Very well said. I have to ask you this. I know how much you love this city, and I know how much you care about people in this city. Oscar, I'm driving down the Strip the other day at night, and it's like spooky. We'll probably never see it again, at least I hope not, for the rest of our lifetime, where all the casinos are shut down. There's nobody on the Strip. There's nobody on Fremont Street. You did a great job cleaning up downtown Fremont. I love it down there. And now, it's spooky. It almost feels like it's not real, right, Oscar? It feels like a movie or something.
Yeah,
it's strange, isn't it?
They used to have these movies about the atomic bomb dropping and the whole community disappears and the streets were empty. We were out on a Sunday just driving around, and it looked the same way. No cars, no people walking. Even the dogs stayed home.
Yeah, I mean, it's bizarre. It's like we're living in Bizarro world, right, Oscar?
Well,
I mean,
it's a shame because it's the real world, and that's the world that we're in now. That's why we have to get back to doing things the old way and get back and living again, because right now I'm not sure when you're a prisoner in your own home, and I say that respectfully, that's really living.
Sure. No question. I want to ask you one more question, Oscar. And by the way, thank you so much for doing this on short notice. We appreciate it. There's a lot of people that look up to you, including myself. And there's a lot of people in Las Vegas that are very worried. They don't know if their local business is going to make it. They don't know if they're going to be able to put food on the table. Yes, there are programs out there that are helping people, and the stimulus check and unemployment benefits. Yes, that is true. But with that being said, I want you to talk to the locals here in Las Vegas and throughout the state that are listening and give them some advice, because there's, as you know, Oscar, there's a lot of people that are scared and maybe they're depressed, and there are a lot of people in different situations that are struggling here. I want you to talk to them and from your point of view and give them advice if you can.
Although nothing of this magnitude has happened to us, I remember back after 9/11, some 30,000 people were laid off in Las Vegas as a result of the economy. And believe it or not, the same conditions existed out there. There weren't any cars. Folks weren't driving in from Southern California. The planes were empty. And it took some time in order for us to come back. But the lesson is we did come back. We overcame the horror show of October 1, and we came back, and we're going to come back from this as well. I'll never forget my children, independently of one another, when we had the great recession here back in 2008, 2009. They said, Dad, what should we do? Should we sell our home? Should we move? And I said, wait a second. I said, do you love living in Las Vegas? And they said, yes. I said, well, stay where you are, pay your mortgage, and it will all come back. And it did. And they made the right decision. They stayed in a place that has always rebounded, has always been able to recreate itself and address the needs of the day. And the same thing's going to happen here, but it better happen soon.
Well, Oscar, very well said. I cannot wait to go back to Beef, Booze, and Broads. It's one of my favorite restaurants. I love that place. I love the skirt.
Maybe that'll be the first thing we do.
The skirt steak.
That'll be the first business opens. Oscar's Steakhouse down there.
I hope so.
The best martinis and the best big steaks.
The skirt steak there is second to none.
Down and I'm buying.
Oh, that's nice of you. I might hold you to that, Oscar. That'll be my birthday dinner. I appreciate that.
Gift, right.
I appreciate that, Oscar. I'm going to look forward to that. Please send my regards to your wife. I love you guys, and thank you so much for coming on.
Okay, you take care, and happy birthday.
Thank you, Oscar. I appreciate that. That's really nice.
Oscar.
There you go. Mayor Oscar Goodman joining us online. Hey, I just got a free meal. out of that interview. Oscar Goodman's going to buy me dinner at Beef, Booze, and Broads. That's more than anyone else is going to do for me. That's a good.
Can we come with?
Yeah, I don't know. No, it's a date.
Just you?
It's a date. He invited me. No, you're staying home. You stay home and you're in quarantine. And when the Las Vegas is opening up, I am going to Beef, Booze, and Broads.
Will you bring me a doggy bag?
I might do that. Okay. I might do that for you. By the way, that is a great restaurant. I love Oscar, by the way. I love him because he's honest. He's an honest guy. I don't agree with everything he just said. But I do have a tremendous amount of respect for him and a tremendous amount of respect for his wife. They work their asses off. They have their whole life. And while I don't agree with everything Carrol Goodman has said over the course of the last few days and the last few months.
You heard what he said. 30,000 people lost their jobs from 9/11.
No, I understand.
We're looking at 400,000 in a week.
No,
he said that took a long time to come back from. So what do you think 13 times that's going to take, Brian?
Well, my response to that would be this. It also, you never come back from losing a loved one and somebody losing their life. And I know you want to shake your head, but the bottom line is I'm concerned about the health of Americans. Unemployment, yeah, it sucks if you lose your job. It sucks if you're in quarantine. It sucks more if you die.
You literally said that if the entire world lost their jobs, you would not care.
I did not say. You're saying something that I didn't
You talk
say.
About saying something dangerous.
Again,
that is the definition of a dangerous thing to say.
So let me just respond to what you just said, which is totally inaccurate. If the whole world lost their jobs, I didn't say I wouldn't care. If the whole world lost their jobs so that we could save millions of lives, I would be okay with. There is a fine line and a difference there. I want people to go back to work just as much as you do. I want the economy to open up and business to open up just as much as you. The difference, in my opinion and your opinion, is this. The difference is this, and it is that I want us to be able to go out there and everything back to normal when the virus is not dangerous anymore. And it's a very simple opinion.
Is that when the virus is totally gone? Is that when there's a vaccine that prevents us?
I'll tell you when it is.
That gives us a 60% chance of not getting the virus? Because that's all vaccine does?
Since we're not doctors here, I'll tell you when.
I'm asking you when is it personal.
And I'm going to answer it. And it's not going to be my opinion, and it's not going to be a hypothetical, and it's not going to be Brian Shapiro thinks blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
When the doctors and the experts say that it is
now, what if some doctors say that it's okay in some states, and some doctors say that it's okay in other states?
Because we have
and one side of the doctors are Democratic, and one side of the doctors are Republican. Then at that point, how do you make your decision?
Well, because I have 10 seconds, we have to go to break, and I don't have enough time to answer that question. Coming up next, we are going to be speaking with one of my favorite stand-up comedians. His name is George Wallace. I'll try to answer that question if you have time a little later in the show. George Wallace coming up next, everybody. You're listening to The Vegas Take.